Welcome back to What Was That? So the very first thing that I noticed after the fall was what I like to call in the spiritual community for people that are going to spiritually evolve is the mental O storm. Okay? It is because when we are in this world and we are following worldly truths, those are not truths to a spiritual person, to someone that has a higher consciousness. They understand not worldly truths, but they understand universal truths, and they understand esoteric truths. They do not, however, conform any longer to just regular worldly truths. Doesn't mean that we're not coexisting in this world. We absolutely are, because we actually want to help the world, and we want to help raise the consciousness and help others raise their consciousness and evolve. So that is what I call the mental storm, because it is where, like I said earlier in my fall video, absolutely everything basically comes under scrutiny. It comes under investigation. We have to, at this point, I was going through thoughts to see what truth really was in those thoughts, or if those were no longer to serve my higher good and my evolution of my consciousness. And it was actually kind of amazing, some of the thoughts that it's really, I think that's part of that saying that people go, well, if you feel like you're going to lose your mind, and then they say, do it. Because in this situation, when you are going through the existential crisis and you are reviewing certain thoughts that you may hold and think that they are a truth in some way, or you've been upholding this thought or truth in your life, and it's actually not to your benefit, it's to your detriment, actually. You'd be surprised at some of them. But the reason I call it the O storm is because it's not just like one thought. You feel like all of a sudden you are flooded, like the floodgate, the dam bursts, okay? It's like all of these thoughts coming at one time, and you do feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose my mind. But that's okay, because a lot of those thoughts that have been intrusive in your mind and that are coming forward intrusively at this point, like all together, aren't really serving you. So it is very overwhelming, and I had to sit there and say, okay, no, I need to do this, but let me just say, let's one thought at a time. And so I started to do one thought at a time, and it got easier and easier and easier, to where I looked at the thought. I really examined the thought. Is it something that's true? If it's not true, it's got to go. It was shed. It was let go, released. And I'm not holding that any longer. I'm not entertaining that any longer. If it had truths to it, then it was safe. Okay. And it, like I said, I said, let's just do one at a time. And it was manageable. But then I experienced myself. Now, other people may experience it differently that have gone through this, but myself, I experienced it what I would call effervescent, okay? Mine became effervescent. So it literally felt like bubbles coming up, thought bubbles, pop, 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 coming up. And they just started, not just one at a time, and it was a barrage of them that started, but I was comfortable finally with dealing with all of them, because it was quick deciding that's got to go, this stays, that goes. It was very quick, but it was very effervescent. And I do remember sometimes one or two of the thoughts kind of like, well, that's not right. Like, wow, just very interesting. So that effervescence is what it was for me, is as I was going through the thoughts to determine what was for my highest good, in my consciousness and my evolution. It was very effervescent. So what was that? Thanks for listening.